I'm telling you, if I didn't own Zoom, if I didn't own stock in Zoom before, I sure should now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to go ahead and start us with a word of prayer. Okay. Oh, dear Lord, thank you. Wow. Thank you so much for this opportunity tonight to come together. We just ask that you would enter in right now, Lord. You know that, because you are sovereign, that just for me personally to be on here just now in the last 10 minutes became quite the show. But you know what? As my husband came in to help me from being electrocuted, he said, "No way, Satan, you're not stealing this night from my wife and her team." So I just claim that. And I know that you have something great for us tonight. I ask that I decrease and you increase. Whatever it is that you would have for us to learn, let it be learned, let it be shared. And just more than anything too, Lord, I just ask that you would enter in and allow this to be a time of fellowship. During such an odd and uneasy time of social distancing, it is a blessing to see these beautiful faces that are nothing but a blessing in my life. So we just ask that you honor our time, and we thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So only because, okay, there we go. I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb now. I was just leaving it on for a few minutes, maybe like 8 or 9 into the hour, just to make sure nobody had trouble getting on. But I'm assuming, since you're here, that everybody's good. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I will say that for some of you, portions of this will be a review, okay? And also, I have to ask for your forgiveness and grace up front. I'm doing this off of my laptop because I want to screen share in a moment. And so unlike with the phone, where I can actually look directly at the phone and look you eye to eye, right now I'm supposed to be looking at this green light. But it's weird because then I can't look at you guys. So I apologize if it looks like I'm not paying attention to you. I really truly am. The one thing I will ask is if, of course, as with any training, we keep it pretty casual and pretty loose. But if you can just bear with me and allow me to kind of power through the things I wanted to share tonight, and then absolutely I'll save some time at the end for questions. And again, some of it might be review, but maybe it'll be helpful review, or you can just, daydream or something if you're bored. So anyhow, so really what I'm trying to do here is put together a library of trainings for current members of Team Fierce Fit and Faithful coaches, as well as future members, because we know that we have something beautiful to share. So we know we want more people as part of our team. There are amazing trainings already available for Beachbody coaches in the back office, which I'll show you in just a moment. And in the Upgraded Alliance with Nicolette, who I highly respect as my grandma coach. She's our upline coach, the Upgraded Alliance. Even Brittany Leggett with the Dynasty United has amazing trainings, and they are much prettier and much, probably obviously much more concise and much more organized than what you'll have, than what I'll be able to offer you. However, what I have found over the last, almost 3 years of coaching, is that the lessons that I learn I learn mostly from people that I'm hearing from directly. And what I mean by that is I can feed each of you into Nicolette's training, or into Brittany's training, or into just the back office training. And there is some of that I will ask you guys to do, because I'm not going to explain the compensation plan as well as the CEO is. But you and I know each other, right? And I feel like you and I can teach each other and learn from each other better than perhaps someone that you've never met, or I've never met, or maybe I've just waved at across the room. Also, we tend to do business similarly because we have a shared faith in Christ. And I think that that's important. I am ready to run with any one of you who wants to be like a superstar, 15-star diamond bazillionaire. Like, let's do it. I will do my best to keep up. But what I believe we're here to do, first and foremost, is to honor Christ, We're here to honor our bodies and our own journeys and then pay that forward. And in doing so, earn an income. Okay. And I know that I'm getting to a season in my life where I'm looking to ramp this business up and allow that income to become more of a full-time income and take the place of what I do full-time now. So it will look differently, meaning that I'll be devoting more time on a daily basis to it. But I've also been running this business for 3 years as a side hustle. So I feel like I've done pretty well. I've done pretty well to the fact that I'm a 1-star diamond coach. If you don't know what that means, I'll talk about in a moment. And I earn an average of about $1,000 a month with the effort that I put in now, which is pretty much just life-giving to me. So what I know, in order to get higher than that, I've got to put in more effort and give more value. But what I know from that experience is that I can meet coaches either if you want it to be a side hustle, or if you want to grow and replace your full-time job. That's my goal. And so we're going to do it together. So I'm looking to put together a training just based on my knowledge, which I'm the first to say I don't know it all, but I will be the first to say I don't, and I'll find the answer. And what I keep hearing is that it's without being cliche, it's the start that's stopping people. It's like, I don't know exactly what to even do. And if I don't know how to do it perfectly, I don't want to do it. And I know that because that's me. I'm a recovering perfectionist who has lived her life black and white. It was either all in and perfect. And then the moment that I would cough or get a hiccup, which is going to happen on this side of heaven, then it was all out. I suck. I can't do anything right. So what I've learned in my older age is that life on this side of heaven is going to be kind of a combination of those two worlds. And I'm looking towards progress instead of perfection. So what the training for tonight is, the goal for number 1 is pretty much, how do you start? How do you start as a Beachbody coach? What are the key things that I believe from my experience, either how I started or have watched other coaches start? What do they do early on? And what are the key things that we need to know? Okay. So the first thing we need to know is that, excuse me, I did refill my water after I spilled it all over my desk. The first thing we need to know is that in addition to being a ministry, which I believe Team Fierce Fit and Faithful is, this is also a business. So we have an opportunity to run a business and honor Christ at the same time, okay? When we're running a business, we expect to earn an income. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna screen share and I'm gonna show you how you're gonna earn that income, or how you get paid. Like, I shouldn't say how you earn the income, but I'm gonna show you how you get paid. All right, so if you look here, can you guys, are you seeing my computer screen now? Okay, yeah. I feel so fancy. I'm just learning how to even do this. Okay, so if you'll notice, the website is simply coach.teambeachbody.com, and it's very similar to what you log into all the time, but it just has the word coach in front of it. Then you're gonna sign in. Again, I won't take a lot of time on this, but it's very important. It's amazing to me how many people start and don't know how to get paid with the work that they're doing and the value you're adding. So your login is going to be the same that it is to your Team Beachbody page and your Beachbody on Demand account. Okay. And there is a lot happening back here. And I will go through a lot more of this on another training. But right now, here's what I want you to know. To make sure that you are getting paid, you are going to go to Monitor My Business. Then you go down here to My EFT Management. And like I said, I'm recording this so that if I'm going too fast or anything like that, then you can go back and check this. Right here, mine has obviously been set up for years. But right here, you're going to select, there's a drop-down menu right here. Do you want a physical check or do you want an automatic deposit? Now, you can certainly opt to get a physical check. There is something kind of cool about getting a piece of paper in the mail. It's kind of old school, feels good. But I will tell you that there's at least $2.50 taken out of that because they charge you to send you that check. So I do an auto draft, and you get paid every single Thursday. Okay, so Beachbody payday is on Thursdays, and then you just put in your bank account information, update the information, and there you go. Okay, so that was pretty simple, I think. But it, again, is amazing to me how many people we start hustling and then it's like, wait, when do I get paid? How do I get paid? So now you know how to get paid, okay? The other thing I want to show you real quickly and right off the bat, and again, this may be review for some of you, but I want to show you a tool we have called Share a Cart, okay? This is something that was brought in about 1.5 years ago. It changed the game for all of us because it makes it super simple to help people get signed up, okay? In fact, let's see, Jess was on before Share a Cart, Susan probably too, but Carrie, I bet you this is how you signed yourself up when it was I sent you a Share a Cart, okay? So bear with me real quickly. We are going to assume right now that Carrie, you have your first customer who wants to start this journey with you, wants to start working out with you, wants to start drinking superfoods. So you're ready. You're like, okay, I love chocolate. I'm going to get you a bag of chocolate and we're going to do bar blend together. Okay. So let me get you signed up. Let me help you get signed up. So here's what you're going to do. All right. So I'm sharing again. All right. So I'm going to actually get out of this one and I'm going to go back to the home one, the home page or the Team Beachbody home page. And okay. So right here, this is if you simply type in teambeachbody.com, okay? Now we'll say if I weren't signed in, this is where I would sign in and it's the same exact login, okay? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, okay, my screen is crazy, I apologize, give me just a moment. Let me get rid of this real quick. Okay, so now I'm going over here to Coach and I'm hovering over Coach button and I'm going then down to Share a Cart. Okay, Share a Cart is its own separate tab and it is so simple for me to show you how to use this. It is fantastic. So we're going to say that, so we're going to sign my mom up, okay? So you're going to, she's obviously already a member, but anyways, I know her information off the top of my head. So let's say you, you have their email address, then you're going to type in her name. It obviously autofilled, so maybe that wasn't the best example, but anyhow, all you need in order to send someone a Share a Cart is their email address and their first and last name. And you have to have their permission, okay? So then you're going to select that. You're going to say Fuzz53 at AOL, Cindy Ortiz, she lives in the US, she speaks English. Now my mom is actually signed up as a coach for me, so that's why it's automatically selecting coach. But if she weren't, and she weren't interested in being a coach yet, and you were signing her up as a customer, the way that most of you signed up as a first, before you chose to become a coach, then you would select customer. I can't select that for her because she's already signed up as a coach. But you're going to select one or the other, and you're going to say, yes, I have permission to enter this enrollee's personal information. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign her up. So now we're going to go shopping. And this is very similar to that shopping toolbar over on teambeachbody.com, but it's very simple. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'll just show you. We're going to sign her up for what I told you she wants to do. She's going to start doing bar blend with Carrie. So we're going to sign her up for a challenge pack. And I'll tell you why we're going to sign up for a challenge pack here in just a moment. And my favorite thing on the planet is a Beachbody On Demand Shakeology Challenge Pack because it brings the best of Beachbody On Demand and our superfoods all together. So we're selecting that one. You can see there, it's on sale right now, guys. And tomorrow it actually goes live onto regular Beachbody On Demand. Isn't that amazing? Now you're just simply going through these little options and selecting if you can see. Okay, she wants to do chocolate. Unless someone specifically requests packets, I always order them the bag because they get 6 extra servings for the same price. All right, select and continue. There's your cart, okay? Now you'll see here, if you want to, you can even go in here and customize the email that you send to her, okay? I don't use this function because I actually just kind of, I'm always texting and emailing with folks anyways, but you can. And then you would send this. So I'm going to send this to her and I'll tell her she can ignore it when she gets it. And then here's something really important I want you guys to see. After you send that cart to her, so my mom is now going to get an email from Beachbody that says, hey, welcome to Beachbody. Here's your cart that your Amy or Carrie prepared for you. And all you need to do is put in your billing and shipping information and hit submit and you're ready to go. So we've pretty much done a lot of the work for them. Now, I will tell you in my experience over the last year and a half with Share a Cart, there are some email addresses that don't like to receive this directly from Beachbody. So, and I think sometimes I've noticed it mostly with Gmail. So all you have to do is click copy shareable link, and then you can go either into your Facebook Messenger, for example, or you can go, oops, what happened here? I'll just go back here. You can go into Facebook Messenger and copy and paste that link, or you can create your own email from your own email address and just copy that link in there. That's your Share a Cart. So that's how you can sign people up. You don't have to sign them up for a challenge pack. You can sign them up that way with just Beachbody On Demand, with just bars, with everything that you can buy from Beachbody. You can create a Share a Cart for them. So you're pretty much doing half of the effort for them. You send it off to them. I usually always follow it up and just say, hey, just sent it your way. Let me know when you're all signed up so we can give each other a virtual high five and get going. That's the best and most efficient way to get somebody signed up and I guess to help them complete their purchase. Okay. All right. So those are the very two early on basics of how do I get paid for the work that I'm doing, and how do I encourage people to make their purchase. Okay. Now, backing up a bit here, I talked a moment ago about why I love challenge packs. And I told you I promised that I would talk about that, but I want to back up even further from that. All right. Because I know I just threw some of the basic logistics on you, but we're going to back up to the whole reason of why we're even choosing to make Beachbody or coaching or Team Fierce Fit and Faithful our side hustle, or prayerfully maybe our full-time hustle someday. Okay. So at some point, this is some self-reflection time. At some point, you encountered something that Beachbody offers that changed the game for you, that helped you in some way, okay? At some point you did. And I would love to ask you, as you kind of just can think about this in your mind, was it the accountability of being in a challenge group? Was it the Shakeology that helped make you regular all of a sudden after 40 years? Was it the Beachbody On Demand workouts? Was it being able to work out at home without traveling to the gym? Was it, having a program start to finish where you could actually get killer results in 30 minutes a day? Was it nutrition? Was it signing on to Portion Fix or 2B Mindset? Was it the fact that you came across some crazy Team Fierce Fit and Faithful coach who started talking about how you can honor your body for Christ and it's not narcissistic and it's actually a good thing to do, and all of a sudden Jesus can be part of your fitness? What was it? Was it one of those? Was it all of those? Those are the questions we have to ask for ourselves whenever we're getting ready to go and talk about the fact that we are coaches. Okay. You'll notice in my feed, and when I talk about coaching, I very rarely, in fact, I don't think I ever in months or years have typed out the word Beachbody in a post. I call myself a coach because I believe that I am. But I am more proud of being a Team Fierce Fit and Faithful coach than I am of saying I'm a Beachbody coach. Not because I don't believe wholeheartedly in the company and the mission and all the products. I believe firmly that it's world-class, second to none. But I believe that I was introduced to this out of a place of desperation, and that it was the Lord that brought me to the products and the offerings that Beachbody has, and thus the birth of Team Fierce Fit and Faithful. Okay. So for example, for me, when I go back and I think, why the heck am I doing this? Why am I not knowing that I want to make a little more money or a lot more money, or I want to replace my full-time job, or I want to have a savings account for my son's college fund, knowing that I want to earn some money, why am I not choosing to sell candles or mascara or good smelly things or any of these other wonderful products that can be sold. It's not to knock any of them, but there's a reason that we've chosen this, okay? So when I ask myself that, I find that actually all of those are an answer for me. So the accountability, I have a blast in the challenge groups. It was definitely when I was a challenger for 4 or 5 months before I even ever talked to somebody about what I was doing behind the scenes, I loved it. The superfoods have changed my life. You guys know that. I won't even go there. The workouts, I used to spend hours at the gym, and now I get better results working out 30 minutes at home. To Be Mindset also has changed my life. And then more than anything, all of that, the thread of Jesus bringing it together, and Romans 12:1 talking about how when we're alive on this side of heaven, that we can offer our bodies as a living sacrifice, and that we should, is like been the game changer for me. But the reason that I ask you is because that is what you are going to talk about. We, and I mean we, are not going to craft some kind of coach coming out post that says, unless you want it to, but I'm going to encourage you, that says, I am now a Beachbody coach. I love Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology. Who wants to join me? No, I don't recommend that. That worked 8 years ago when, Beachbody coaching first hit the scene on Facebook. But now people are just going to scroll right past that. What they're going to want to see is, I'm putting you out there, Susan, they're going to want to see a woman who now fits in her wedding dress again. Okay. They're going to want to see a woman who used to struggle with food and eating in secret in the closet, who now can walk right past a bag of Oreos and choose to eat something that honors her body. Okay. They're going to want to see that kind of stuff. They're going to want to hear your story. And that comes from understanding why you're here. I had no intention when I said yes, and I started in a challenge group and I started drinking Shakeology. I had no intention on becoming a coach. Team Fierce Fit and Faithful was a year away when I first said yes. But because I had such a life-changing experience, I could no longer deny it. I had dabbled in some other side hustles of selling beautiful merchandise and selling amazing mascara, but it was nothing that ever had literally changed my life, or at least been a huge key factor in changing my life. Okay. This was one of those things where I no longer wanted to be quiet about it because it had made such an impact. And then when I somehow put the two together, that I could pay this forward and tell people and help them change their lives too, and then also bless my family financially, I was like, ding, no brainer. That's what I want to be when I grow up. So finally figured that out in my 4th decade. So we're going to rewind and we're going to figure out why. Why is it? And I would love right now for anyone to pipe in. Don't worry about giving me scroll brain, and share with me off the top of your head, why was it that you hit that sign up coach button? And I can tell you honestly, there's no wrong answer. The first reason I did it was to get a discount. Okay. So anybody want to share why, or why you're on this call tonight?
I will.
Awesome.
Because it changed, from going to the gym. I never had time. I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and then go to work, get the kids, then come home about 6 o'clock, and I wouldn't have time to exercise. And now I can wake up 30 minutes earlier and get my exercise in and be ready for the day.
Awesome. Awesome, Carrie. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I do have to tell you that it means a lot to me that someone with your background really signs off on something like Beachbody On Demand. For those of you that don't know, Carrie also is a college athlete, and she coaches not just Beachbody coaching, she coaches athletics, and she's been a gym person for a long time, whether she wanted to or not. We were doing, that's the kind of life that she and I shared. Anyone else want to share the why of why you wanted to transition to either be a coach or transition from being a discount coach to being some type of business building coach?
Oh, okay. I think it's a lot of things. Because yes, it was the discount, knowing I don't work, and I knew that this was gonna take some money from my hubby, and I failed at so many diets. I didn't want to cripple them by doing one more sign up thing of MetaFast or whatever, and then it doesn't work. And so here we are to do Shakeology, but he saw my desperation and my pain, and my health was bad. And so Shakeology, you know, I knew it would work, but I was totally blindsided when I went in to sign up for the Shakeology, because I saw this program about a life-changing, it's not a diet, it's, you know, it's a way of life, a mindset, was to be mindset. And oh my gosh, that changed my life.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but it did.
No, you don't be sorry at all. It has been an incredible honor to be on this journey with you, Susan. I mean, it is just stinking awesome.
It's just, and then the other surprise is you guys, you know, to step out, exercise. Are you giving me no way? I'm not going to do that. Oh my gosh, no. And to step out to try to exercise and actually say, I like it, kind of. And it's fun. I mean, yeah. And then to meet you all on virtual, you know, I could just hug you guys all the time, because I feel like we're family in some respects.
Yeah.
Jessica, I just really want to squeeze you.
I can't wait to meet you in person so you can.
Oh my gosh. You know, so there's so many things that have totally changed my life, to have a community of women. I didn't like women very well. I don't think guys were much more easy to BS with and laugh, you know, and not be so catty and nitpicky. But you all changed my life. This whole thing is just, I'm not the same person today.
I think, you know, I don't know. I look back, and Amy and I have talked about this, because I remember vividly conversations that she and I have had at Panera and Starbucks, and poor Amy has stuck with me as I've gone. You know, when I came in and I was, gosh, I mean, I was all in, and I had these big goals, because my husband and I were going to go on our Bahamas cruise, and my daughter was getting married, and I had this big carrot in front of me. And, you know, amazingly, watching things come together, and, you know, losing weight and was part of it. But the big thing for me is, if you can tie faith into something, you have a much better chance of hooking me. Because I honestly, I can't, for me, and Amy and I have talked about this too, like, I love the gym because I love being in classes with other people. Like, I need live people that when we get done, I can high five them, I can hug their sweaty selves. Like, I need that. And so while I appreciate, you know, Beachbody on Demand, and there are some workouts that I enjoy, I crave that social interaction. However, what really hooked me was the challenge groups, and, you know, and it's like, that got me. One, because I'm competitive, and when Amy said there was a prize, I'm like, whoa. And I got a really cute Team Fierce Fit and Faithful bag, really cute. So the challenge groups got me, you know, on the front end. I have taken a step back for a number of reasons with life and scheduling and trying to figure things out. And through a pretty long, intense season of prayer, you know, God and I are in agreement that it's time to be back. And so, you know, I actually talked to this morning, and talking to Jess this morning, and talking to Chris, like, I don't do mornings. I don't do mornings at 4:30. I don't do mornings at 6. I mean, if it was a 9:30 in the morning, I'm your girl. And so,
yep. 10.
9 o'clock in the morning, I'm with you. But so for me to set my alarm, you know, honestly, where right now I don't have to, because I don't have to be at school early. But it's like, I set my alarm because I look forward to who's going to be on in the morning. Yep. And so I have, you know, for this week, it's like, I woke up, I was like, wow, third day in a row. What happens in 3 days? Because I'm looking forward to it. So for me, it's about the accountability. It's about the relationships. It's about the journey. I've lost a lot of weight with this, and now I need to lose a lot of weight again. And I know that the tools are there for me to do that. So
there is. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for sharing. Jess, it's so good to see you. Hi. Hi. It's okay. I think you're muted, by the way, but that's okay. And I'm going to record. I'm recording this, so you'll be able to watch the beginning where I did some kind of mechanical stuff, like, boring stuff, but very important stuff, which is why I did it first. So thank you, ladies, so much for sharing. There's a very purposeful reason why I was trying to pull some of that out because there is what you share. You don't share the funny sizzle reel Autumn Calabrese or, Tony Horton doing P90X. Everyone's seen that. We've all seen that. But Carrie, you can talk about how you can put a picture of you and your beautiful girls and say, I love these girls, but because of these girls, I don't have time to go to the gym. And you share. And because I don't have a commute and because I'm able to meet up with these ladies in the morning or press play at home, I get a workout in. It's changed my life. I used to, all these posts are like coming into my brain, so don't let me overwhelm you. I used to work out at the gym for hours at a time, but then I became an adult and I have children and I have mouths to feed and I no longer have 2 and 3 hours a day. But being a former college athlete, I know I still want to take care of my body. So this is what works for me now. There are people that are in the exact same boat as you, especially now, but even outside of quarantine world, that will relate to your story. I used to tell Jess, in the early days, Jess Ward, I'm like, there are people that are going to want to listen to you way more than they're going to want to listen to me. And there's people going to listen to me more than they're going to listen to you. And it doesn't make either of us right or wrong. It means that there's thousands and millions of different kinds of people and everybody has a different story. Jess, you're right there. Everyone who knows you knows that you are a people person. And by the way, Susan, when you get the hug, you're going to know you got the hug because it's the best hug. And so therefore it's not a textbook thing where it's like, well, I can't really share because I'm not a huge Beachbody On Demand fan. No, you talk about how I got to be out there with people. And because I have people right now that I can come and see at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's the only reason I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Talking about accountability, these tiny things that if you knew there was no one there waiting for you, you wouldn't be up. You would just press snooze, or you wouldn't even have set the alarm. There is your story, because somebody's going to relate to you, unlike I do, and say, I'll rather work out at 9:30. For me, at 9:30, if it ain't happening, it ain't happening, except for today. But there's you. And then Susan, of course, your story is incredible, and we could, oh gosh, I just love talking with you. But the way that your life has changed in so many different ways, that's what we share. That's what we talk about. We don't have to have all the answers of how long is this program and which program should this person use and should they drink this or should they try that. We don't have to have all of those answers to be an effective, helpful coach. All we have to have is our testimony. And your testimony is what you guys just shared right now. Testimony is that Jess was up at 6 o'clock in the morning to exercise. That's a testimony, all right? Carrie, she has a solution to her busy, busy life. And Susan, so that's what we share. And when I'm talking about sharing, I'm talking about sharing consistently, okay? The next training we do, I'm gonna give you guys actually a really simple and easy roadmap of, to make it very simple to share consistently as far as like topics and ideas, just to help. You can take it or leave it. Because I think you guys would agree that if you share your story every single day about, oh, this changed my life, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it changed my life, people eventually are going to be like, oh my God, you're very over dramatic. I got to go. You know, that's why you see folks like myself, you know, there's pictures of dogs some days, or Nicholas, of course, he gets more likes than anyone. You know, so you do spread it out. I call it breadcrumbing your story. You take your life story, which is ever changing, especially right now, and you just give a little breadcrumb of it a couple times a week. And people keep coming back because you're sharing authentically. You're sharing your testimony. We're not bikini fitness models that are perfect. We're people that someone out there can relate to. Okay. So the key is to not look over here and not look over there. In fact, I actually went through at the new year and unfollowed a lot of very successful Beachbody coaches. Not because they're not amazing people, but because I had fallen into the comparison game. Their voice is different than mine, you know? And there are women I adore that I've met that I no longer follow because I just kept saying like, oh, I should look like that, or I should do this, or I should have done it this way. Nope. I'm going to do it the way that God has for me to do it. Okay. So we're not going to look this way or this way. We're going to look right here and say, what can I do? What can I share today that's going to help somebody? And like I said, in the next training, I'll talk more about creating a posting schedule. I don't want that to sound mechanical, but because we need to share consistently to be authentic and to be successful in whatever type of coaching you want to do, it is important to have some kind of schedule. It also helps when you see, because then you're not trying to come up with something off the fly. But for now, if you have not launched, using business terms, launched your coaching business yet, or you want to relaunch your coaching business, here's what we're going to do. Okay. I don't like calling this because it makes me think of some creepy, weird debutante ball with young girls and weird gowns and lots of makeup on, but we're going to have a coming out post. Okay. A coming out post where you are going to share that you're doing this. Okay. Please do not assume that because you've talked about it a few times here and there, if you've talked about it a few times here and there, that your followers, your friends, your people on Facebook or Instagram have a clue what you're doing. Okay. Because what we know from algorithms is that many of our posts aren't seen by most of our friends. Okay. We'll talk in another training about how to help with those algorithms. And what we know is that people look at pictures and they keep scrolling. So they don't read all the details. That's why we're going to have a coming out post, and then we're going to breadcrumb that post. And we're going to do that intentionally. And the assignment that I have for each of us, excuse me. The assignment that I have for each of us, this is something I learned from one of our upline coaches, Nicolette, is we're going to put together a coming out post. You're going to type up a coming out post, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 paragraphs, and then you're going to send it to me before you post it. Not because I'm an expert, just because I have more experience, and I've done this assignment previously. You're going to send it to me. We're going to tweak it if necessary. Then we're going to pick a photo, and then we're going to post it. And we're going to post it either on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. Because what we know also from social media land is Saturday, especially now in quarantine world, Saturdays and Sundays are the most active time for people, or late at night. If you're super young, we need you to post late at night. But, Saturday or Sunday, we're going to post that, and then we start the week that way, and then the following week, 2 weeks, we're going to breadcrumb your story. I'm not going to write these posts for you, but I'm going to help you so that you can start with a bang and start authentically, okay? So what does that mean? That means today's Wednesday, so by Saturday morning, I get out of my women's Bible study at 9 a.m. New Mexico time on Saturday morning. By Saturday morning, you need to have either Facebook messaged me or emailed me or texted me your coming out post, okay? Now, you may be like, what the heck is that even about? I'm going to show you what one of my first breadcrumbing photos looked like for a coming out post, okay? So bear with me, because I don't want anybody to tune me out and say, that's too hard, I can't do it. just watched what I've shared in June of 2016. All right. So this is what I did. I was inviting people to see what Team Fierce Fit and Faithful is, which had no members, okay? It was myself and then an honorary member, Nicholas, who was 4.5 at the time. This was it. That was all that I posted, okay? Join me. Let's do this together. So nothing fancy schmancy. That's all I did, all right? I'm saying that to say that it doesn't have to be anything epic. In fact, it needs to be your voice, okay? But I would love right now, and it couldn't be a better time right now. The whole world is praying for health. The whole world is, well, most of the world is stuck at home, okay? So right now, even though it's a crazy time, and I keep getting really tired of people saying, how much do you love all this free time you have at home? I really would love for us to take advantage and make something good come out of this COVID-19 season, all right? So if you would like my assistance, I need you to send me your coming out post by Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And then, like I said, what we'll do is we'll tweak it, pick a photo, and then you'll put it up for the weekend, and then we'll spend some time for the following next 2 weeks, either probably 2 to 3 times a week, breadcrumbing that, okay? What's included in a coming out post? Simply saying, I have found something that works for me to help with a problem that used to exist, but because of the solution I have, it no longer exists. Or at least it's easier for me to manage. I still struggle with Oreos sometimes, but I have the tools to manage it, okay? So that's all it is. Pretty simple, but I know it can be scary, so I don't want to downplay it, all right? Now, like I said, sharing consistently is very key. So if we're gonna breadcrumb 2 to 3 times a week, what are we doing in between there? Well, in my experience, the best thing to do is to add value somehow. Jess Rael, you are fantastic at this. You're always sharing positive motivational quotes, beautiful thoughts. Chris Lindquist does a great job at this too. I don't do as good of a job as most could, but I try to add value by being silly, by bringing people a laugh, by giving somebody something really cute to look at with something adorable my son has done. So you're adding value to your feed, to people's lives in a less heavy way, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to talk about being a recovered bulimic 7 days of the week, right? That, I mean, maybe somebody would like that, but that would be weird or be very downer. But I could talk about it on a Sunday and talk about how I no longer struggle with that because I have found freedom with food and with my body image through these solutions. And then Monday, throw up a post of Nicholas running around with no clothes on, going to class on his Zoom, you know? So people, if that makes sense. And and we'll talk more about that in the second training about posting. The key is that you want to tell people what you're doing and you don't want to stop. Okay. So it's not like you have this coming out post and then all of a sudden everybody knows now. So if they're interested, they'll let me know. No. 3 years later, I'm still talking about what I do and why I started doing it in October of 2016. Okay. So that's why we come out and then we're going to breadcrumb it like it's the biggest loaf of bread on the planet because the bread it never disappears. We just keep going because it's your story. It's your testimony. So therefore it's true. Now, what do we have to have at some point in order to transition someone from being blessed by our message, being touched by our testimony, and then also transition them into someone that's also either a customer or a coach or part of our team, right? Because they can, just like we can read all the motivational quotes and all the inspirational posts that we want, but unless we act on it, nothing's going to happen, right? So folks eventually, when the time is right for them, need to act on what you have to offer, all right? That looks different for everyone. What it looked like for me and what it continues to look like even right now in kind of an altered way, is invitations to my next challenge group. Okay. I started with challenge groups long ago. I was a challenger and I loved it and I was hooked. So that's been my route. Now, other folks, perhaps, and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm just going to say this, Susan, since you are a 2B mindset rock star, it's changed your life. You're a certified 2B mentor, and perhaps your invitation looks different. Perhaps you have an invite to something that is much more nutrition focused and focused on finding freedom with food. And that's where you spend your time. Perhaps you don't have a specific group yet to invite to, okay? Right now, what we're doing in Team Fierce, Fit, and Faithful is, sorry, I got ahead of myself, back up. Perhaps you're not inviting to any kind of group or any kind of separate environment. Perhaps you're just wanting to let people know that you work out at 6 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of crazy ladies and you want to invite them to come do that with you. You're not going to put them in a challenge group. You don't have daily challenges for them to do. You don't have anything crazy, no prizes. You just want to invite somebody to work out with you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. That's going to look differently. But all of that translates into something that they need to choose to purchase, something extremely valuable. In my opinion, the best money they can spend. For me, they're going to join my challenge group. They're buying a challenge pack. Challenge packs, I believe, are the best way to go because you get an incredible bang for your buck, but I'll talk about that later. Perhaps if you're inviting to 2B mindset or to freedom with food type of environment, then you're talking to someone only about nutrition and the fact that exercise, you know what, we'll get there. I don't get up at 6 in the morning and work out. No, I'm going to show you how to create cabbage that you actually want to eat, okay? If you're inviting people to work out with you in the morning, maybe you're giving them an invitation to the 2-week free trial that Beachbody's offering right now. And then you talk to them about upgrading that after the 2 weeks to an annual membership or into a challenge pack. These are all different products that we'll talk about on our next training. But you have to have something. My point is that you have to have something that you're inviting to, whether it's a fixed group. Now there's bod groups, which is incredible. I'm so excited about that. Or even an environment, okay? Now, what we have right now is with COVID-19, early on, I knew that I wanted Team Fierce, Fit, and Faithful to be able to serve and be able to come alongside women during this time. I didn't know exactly what that looked like. And after sitting on it for a couple weeks and also just like gathering myself as much as I could, it came to me that we were just going to go old school. We were going to take Team Fierce, Fit, and Faithful. I was going to take my group, take my folks from being in separate challenge groups that are like, you know, very specific and theme and orientated on this and that, which are amazing. But instead, we were going to come back to the foundational group that has lots and lots of people in it. And we were going to make it very simple because right now is not a simple time. And I wanted it to be an easy way for folks to stay accountable with their health and fitness, to be able to have a sense of community with folks that aren't, with other women that aren't just Christians, but also want to focus on their wellness. So right now what we're doing is just a very basic, bare bones type of challenge group environment, okay? So perhaps that's what you want to invite to. You just want to invite to this place that during this season, and I'm going to be running it that way for at least several more weeks. I mean, as long as this lovely thing's happening, right? So perhaps that's what you're inviting to. Perhaps you're saying, I have a community that's not just faith-based for women, because a lot of us have those elsewhere. We have Bible study groups, we have things that we can go to. But do you have a group that's Bible study and fitness and wellness at the same time where they're intermixed and we're encouraging each other and saying, hey, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while, and that kind of stuff. You are more than welcome to invite to that anytime. I do have the group set as private, so I do have to authorize people when they come in, and that's only for our safety. I don't want to allow creepy men or weirdos that we don't know to be in there. But all you have to do is send me a message, just said, hey, I just added my sister-in-law or whatever. And it's super simple. But maybe that's what you're inviting to. And you know that the banner of Team Fierce and Faithful simply has the different outlines of what we do. And then that's what we're doing. So that takes care of that accountability piece and really focuses on that accountability piece that Jess talked about. And then Devin, of course, came up with ideas to kind of spread it out for the week. But the key is that you want to have something that you go back to what changed the game for you. And probably that's going to help you determine what you're inviting to. Okay. Now, I will tell you that I started discount coaching. I started coaching for the discount. And then 5 months later, I decided to talk about it and start inviting my very, very close friends to a challenge group that I was a challenger in, but they allowed me to bring people into that, kind of like I just said that you guys could do that we can do for Team Fierce and Faithful. It was not until I had kind of piggybacked onto someone else's challenge group for 2 or 3 months, 2 or 3 months, until I actually said, I'm going to create my own group. What's it called? Devin came up with Team Fierce, Fit, and Faithful when I talked to her about my vision. And thus, my own challenge groups were birthed. And very shortly after, they were no longer just mine, because we had other people that were helping and pitching in, and Chris and Jess Ward, and, so I share all that to say you don't have to have it all figured out now to start. Do not let the start stop you. If we did that, we wouldn't even have this. We wouldn't be here, because in my mind, I have not figured this out. I don't have any magic bullet. I don't have all the answers. But what I got was confirmation that it was time to start sharing. And I started sharing consistently. And then after I piggybacked for a couple, 2 or 3 months, I decided, well, here goes nothing. And I started my own group. And all of you, I think, except Susan, have been in one of my challenge groups, and you see that it's not rocket science, okay? But it's not something that, unless you want to, that you have to plan to start tomorrow. You just have to decide, after you determine the why and the what changed the game for you, decide what you're going to invite to. So your coming out post, you start breadcrumbing, and then very shortly thereafter, we start weaving in what you're inviting to. And if you're totally like balls to the wall, excuse my language, you can start inviting to that in your coming out post, because chances are people already know what you're doing a bit. If you've posted anything about working out or, losing weight or anything at all, they kind of know what you're doing. If you have not shared a lick about your fitness journey or your time with Team Fierce, Fit, and Faithful, I do recommend kind of doing a coming out post first, breadcrumbing that, and then you start inviting about a week after that. Okay. I know there's a lot of I'm giving specifics, but that's what I think is helpful. I think it's helpful to just, kind of have a roadmap. Obviously, you don't have to follow my roadmap exactly. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the retreat. All right. So we talked about the retreat. I am beyond excited about the retreat. It is going to be flipping incredible. And so more details to come. Just trust that your mind will be blown and you want to be there. Okay. It's going to be an amazing time. And I can't think of a better way to come out of this quarantine time. Okay. If you caught the recording, which I think all of you did, or caught the live, you know that you need to earn 38 PV, 38 personal volume in April to start being qualified to attend the retreat. Okay. Now, in the video about the retreat, I said the reason, and this is true, the reason that I picked 38 PV was because that is the personal volume that's given to an annual BOD membership, an annual Beachbody On Demand membership. And right now, COVID-19 land, there's nothing better to be sharing, I think, than Beachbody On Demand, because you work out at home and get great results, and Shakeology because it'll get you all your nutrients and keep you healthy. But I will tell you that personal volume comes also from you. So if you purchase, if you have a subscription to Shakeology and you got a bag for April, you've already hit your PV. If you get bars or supplements or anything that you intake for personal consumption or for your family, you're actually already taken care of. The reason I put that out there in the announcement video is because I'm wanting to start pushing folks out of their comfort zone to start talking about these solutions that we have, these world-class solutions, okay? So I wanted to be clear about that because I believe in being, you know, upfront and honest. So, but you got to make sure that you have the 38 PV by the end of April. Now I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you how you can make sure that you do. I'm not going to take you to the back office again because that can just get really confusing. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take you back into that share a cart and I'm going to show you, let's see if we can, we're going to, poor mom, she's going to get like a bunch of emails, but that's okay. She doesn't mind. I'm going to show you how you can tell what something's PV is. PV is simply the volume. I mean, it's called personal volume, okay? And we'll talk about compensation and all of that a little bit later. All right, so let's say, so mom is gonna get another cart, mom's email and all of that. Bear with me a moment. Okay, so let's say we're gonna go into here. I'm just gonna show you guys how to determine what PV is, okay? So I love Beach Bars. Nicholas and I eat them every day. If you go into a product, you see right here, PV, 30 PV points, okay? If you go Shakeology, a bag of Shakeology, so a month's worth of Shakeology, you can just lock into your mental Rolodex is 90 PV. My connection is really slow, ladies. I apologize. So there you see it. Okay, 90 PV. All right. So there's no need to go through and understand what personal volume and blah, 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 blah. All you need to know is that anytime you purchase something for your own consumption or a customer or coach of yours purchase something for their consumption, new or repeat customer, you're earning personal volume, okay? And for April, you've got to have 38 personal volume somehow or some way, okay? So I just wanted to take a moment to show you how to determine that. There is a way to go into your coach office that I showed you guys earlier and you can see all the PV that you're accruing, but 38 PV, with all due respect, is super, super, super simple to reach, either with your own consumption or just by knowing that you've signed up one person for an annual subscription of Beachbody On Demand. And how are we going to sign them up? You can go into Share a Cart and pick Beachbody On Demand and pick annual and send it to them, and then they're good to go. Okay? All right. I went over by 5 minutes. I have some time, so we'll definitely take some questions. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Jess, Rael, you missed the beginning where right before I went live, I spilled my water over my entire desk. And I was standing here with like my computer and the surge protector like on my toes, yelling for Nick to come and